It may only be 33 seconds, but it's 5 f***ing logos.
4 years ago, Nick and Audrey Spitz solved some of the most high-profile murders of the century.
So it's murder they wrote? Also narration, flashing through imagery of the first movie previously on style, hoping I remember enough details to make any of the second movie valid. It doesn't work.
Nick and Audrey immediately quit their jobs and poured their life savings into pursuing a career as private investigators.
The previous movie had us believing that these two didn't have any life savings, and that Nick's dream was to become a detective. But 4 years later, at the start of this movie, they've amassed wealth, avoided the promotion by quitting a career, and then blew their savings to become mediocre PIs that still argue about what music to sleep to while aggressively flossing. And these are our heroes? Lamps! Lamps!
Miracle.
This asshole stands by as his wife attempts to murder 2 people with a f***ing crossbow because they needed to pay a bill, and the movie will never circle back to Nick and Audrey suing them.
But someone close to them would be killed.
So their only prayer for a successful business is that someone would be murdered, and then they would be near enough to solve it Lansbury style? Have they already forgotten that the only reason they solved the full crime last time is that the Maharaja casually mentioned Grace was with him in the final seconds of the movie? And either way, they have a perfectly good outlet for some money right now by suing this insane woman for attempted murder. Pink sinks.
The whale noises help me fall asleep. You took away my Ambien, so...
Imagine doing all this instead of just sleeping in separate rooms. About 30% of American couples sleep in separate rooms, so it's not even taboo anymore. Just go sleep in another room with your noise and your Ambien and let her get her own sleep.
But we both agreed that it would help our business if we just, took the course.
You really think our business is struggling because of that?
That's not what she said at all.
Do you just not want to do this anymore?
Thank you for asking. No, I don't want to do this anymore. I have a sneaky suspicion this movie will basically be the first movie, but with more vacations, and I just don't want to do it. If your bedroom needs 4 lamps on one end of the room, then you have f***ed up.
Do you know any couples who also work together that actually get along?
Yes, but they are all on reality shows renovating houses, and I've been told not to trust reality shows. I once saw someone drape fabric over their lamp, and I thought it looked great, so I did it. The heat from the bulb burned the fabric, and I almost started a fire next to my bed. So take the scarf off the lamp and stop giving people unrealistic decoration ideas.
Vic! Congratulations! We're so happy for you!
Well, I'm not.
What's happening?
Control-C, Control-Ving the last movie's script, silly.
Honey, do you remember what happened last time we went on a getaway?
Well, movie, do you remember that you used the "do you remember what happened last time" joke a couple minutes ago?
Remember what you did the last time you took Ambien?
And now I'm upset about hearing the same joke twice, and upset that the panty pick I just got out of my head is back. I mean, that's not Adam's real ass, right? What the hell? I'm looking up "is Adam's ass real in women's panties murder" on Google. What could go wrong? Setting your floss on the dresser rather than putting it in the goddamn trash. Oh, we're going to Jurassic Park Island? All this instantly.
Where are you from?
Do you know how loud it is in a helicopter? How anyone is talking back and forth on a headset is beyond me.
The flamingos got diapers on so they don't crap the lawn.
Is a thing they decided to spend money to CGI.
Paris is my favorite city in the world.
Saying this immediately after arriving at a tropical island. This movie is just couples retreat, but with worse actors.
And you don't have to share the armrest now at the movie theater.
This is Adam Sandler's response to someone with a missing arm. It's funny for the masses, but for disabled folks or those with missing limbs, it's the kind of insensitive shit they have been hearing their entire lives.
You guys are happy, right?
Is it required that they be, for the wedding? Here's your hotel room roof opening up to the elements, like mosquitoes and spiders and such and such.
This has just happened.
Nah,
How'd they do that so
I
fast?
think it's incredible.
How is an immediate printed picture impressive? Nick and Audrey snapped a picture of a potential cheating husband, then printed it to show to the grieving wife like an hour later. Why are they acting like they don't know about printers? I have to send this bed that is twice the size of any useful bed. Here's one of those champagne fountains, except there's nothing feeding alcohol into the glasses on top. Some have a pink liquid, but a bunch of them are either empty or filled with water. I wouldn't drink from any of these glasses personally.
Definitely kissing every single finger I have.
She says that instead of yelling for security.
I have made love to more than 10,000 women.
Statistically, this man carries more diseases in one fold of his foreskin than an entire continent. Stop being so careless with your drink. Holy shit, you're wearing white.
Americans. Americans.
Americans.
That's Countess Sekou. She's Vic's ex-fiancée. And she's Claudette's old university roommate.
It seems odd to me that this person would be invited to this wedding. This dance scene goes on for all the piss me off sometime. Everyone behind the Maharaja can see the knife in his back, but they choose to cheer and dance to carry on the ruse that all is well until the camera has a chance to see the problem. Why? Because everyone over on that side of the dance floor are assholes. The military just arrived to keep everyone safe, and none of them attempt to stop a suspicious man from running full speed out of the tent. How do they know he's on the can do whatever he wants list?
Where is my husband?
You're not married yet, but okay.
There are 400 people on this island.
Well, not anymore. Sandler just told you the Maharaja was thrown on a boat that took off, so there's at most 399 people on this island. And that's assuming the kidnapper wasn't already on the island and part of that 400 count, which would knock it down to 398.
How many people knew about the elephant being part of the ceremony?
Just the board.
So that means all of you.
How does Audrey know who was on the board with any amount of confidence?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Popping 4 Advil at a time regularly will give you a whole different set of problems beyond a headache and a backache.
What if that's the killer?
Killers don't knock.
Except for the killer in the last movie. We're just gonna pretend that didn't happen for reasons.
As a precaution, the board made her sign a brutal prenup.
So that means if Vic divorces her, she's left with nothing.
It also means that if she stays married to him, she will have money. God, this movie is dumb. Claudette should absolutely be able to feel Audrey feeling up her gun. This is the worst hiding spot I've ever seen. This is like my cat thinking he's hiding from me when he's standing behind a table leg.
Nick, Audrey, just in time.
For what?
For what?
The real detectives have just arrived.
How did you know that before any of their heads popped up? Also, where did they come from? Did they swim to the island? Is there a boat somewhere that dropped them off? Why couldn't they have just come by boat all the way to a dock?
Well, the colonel's still here, most of them.
Movie's got all kinds of time for amputee jokes. And this movie is pretty new, so there's no "it was a long time ago" defense available here. Sandler is a dick to disabled people. Period. End of story.
Did you hear what that guy just said about us? None of that's true.
He said you were amateur detectives whose business was failing and whose marriage was struggling. That is all the truth.
The kidnapper says he'll only talk to the men he shot at.
And just like that, our chance for the movie to end is over. We were so close. The yet-to-be-solved problem of the fold phone indentation.
Hi.
Conducting this highly important call in an outdoor pavilion with wind interference and eavesdropping ears and prying eyes.
You just cost us 20 extra million, you doofus.
Actually, the first added 10 million was due to you, sir, and your outburst at the original demand of 50 million. Then the second added 10 million was due to them obviously stalling the kidnapper, which they had been instructed to do. 2 cents for Francisco.
I don't want these buffoons involved in this anymore.
The Netflix subtitles don't have the "in this anymore" part, because whoever wrote them is lazy. Sandman signed a $250 million deal with Netflix, and they didn't have any money left over for decent subtitle writers. Leaving out words and subtitles to save yourself time is a slap in the face to people with hearing loss. Be less lazy.
I'm afraid the kidnapper does, so we're stuck with them.
If the kidnapper told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it?
We're going to Paris. Everybody pack your things, be ready to leave in 1 hour.
Because why leave suspects in the capable hands of the investigators when there's a movie to make and another city to explore? These two just give this guy their phones after he says they're compromised without pausing to wonder why he didn't do this back at the resort instead of waiting until right before the ransom.
And I'm going to need one of you to be armed.
Cops arming goddamn regular-ass citizens.
Why couldn't they just Venmo?
Physical money. It was really nice of the suspects to spend part of their hour making sure to coordinate fabric choices. Happy somehow Madison's his way through this fight with his kidnappers.
That's the dead guy, Nick!
How the f*** does she know anything? She's watching the road. There's a huge van and the driver has been killed by an axe to the head, but our heroes are in the back along with some random henchies, so this goes on and on and on and on, and it would be okay if even 10% of it were entertaining. People definitely just died. What the f***? Oh look, they're on the TV as criminals again, just like the first movie. How unexpected.
Cheese knife killers.
This French newscaster gives Nick and Audrey the English title of cheese knife killers rather than the French title of tueurs de compromis. Did I say that right?
Tueur de couteau à fromage.
Tueurs de compromis. She should have said it in French. Vaping in the goddamn opera house. Also blowing smoke rings.
We're being framed.
We got a hunch who really did it.
We just need you to track this license plate for us.
This is the kind of thing that you either need to be able to prove or that your friend has enough trust in you to just believe. I'm not sure either applies here. This appears to be the laziest tying up of hands I've ever seen. A cartoon monkey would have made a tighter knot. These two are profoundly dumb. They've watched the kidnappers send wave after wave of gun baddies for the 70 million, and somehow Nick and Audrey assume that they have what it takes to square up to a deadly enemy? They aren't even armed with anything other than their white privilege and plot armor. The Countess ladies appear out of thin air and then bind Audrey and Nick in a foolish attempt to keep them from being part of the rest of the movie.
You're not the kidnappers?
To further prove how dumb Nick and Audrey are, they choose to believe the murderous Countess and sidekick to be trustworthy storytellers.
I love money. And when I heard that you two amateurs are going to be handling so much of it, I just had to have it.
Money.
Imani, is the car ready for our getaway?
What needs to be ready about the car? There are two vehicles present. The big old trackable truck and the sports car that I presume the Countess drove to get here. The money is in the room, so why is question?
Oh my God, we are so getting blamed for both those assholes being dead.
I mean, not if they have forensics in this country, because that science will prove where the deadly gunshots came from and who fired them. And you will not be blamed. But that's not funny, so...
I'm criticizing you so much, I feel terrible. I'm so sorry.
No one should be surprised that Sandler has created a We're About to Die, so let's confess scene that is derivative of Almost Famous and Seinfeld. The brown, icky moat water becomes clear, happy blue water so that our beloved actors don't have to invite improper bacteria into their biome. How often, when you're out amateur heisting, do you encounter perfectly placed getaway Lamborghinis? I have to believe it's -0.
You get it again, hon.
Sorry.
Because getting back out of the car and switching sides isn't an option. Don't say they're in a hurry, because before going to solve the case, they go for makeovers.
I don't have to explain myself.
I think as a potential suspect, the Spitzes should explain themselves, but surprisingly, no one questions their odd behavior or considers them just as suspicious as anyone else.
Parisian shop girl, desperate for money.
The movie is called Shop Girl with no Parisian lead in, and she wasn't desperate for money. She was searching for a human connection while also dealing with a mental health. Wait, I'm being told I may have misunderstood things here. F***ing Vic shows up with a bomb around his waist saying they need to put all their money on the elevator and send it to the top, and what the f*** is even happening? F***ing AI, did a toddler write this bullshit?
Are you really just going on a hunch right now?
There's a hunch, and then there are epic leaps in logic. And I'm pretty sure Nick using his gut to suss out the real bad guy is a dead guy is one of the biggest leaps I've seen in a while. His only real clue is that a kidnapper wouldn't blow up the money he wants, and that isn't a clue, that's common sense.
Trust me.
Rather than saying, I think it's Miller, and calming everyone's nerves, Nick will casually pour a drink and drone on about his hunch. Meanwhile, his beloved wife and comrades spike cortisol levels and throttle into severe survival mode. What a kind guy, that Nick.
I climbed into a bomb-proof titanium chamber in the back seat.
Oh, you did you? Was it the same back seat that Nick and Audrey were sitting in minutes before departing the vehicle to deliver the money? Because I don't remember them sitting on a box of any kind.
Harry?
Who the f*** comes off an elevator at a busy, popular restaurant and shouts the name of the person they're looking to meet?
I still love him very much.
But also have no idea what Gary looks like, because you're about to ask if anyone here is Gary. This idiot officer has enough life left in him to blow smoke rings with a stranger in a few minutes, but not enough to get his gun and take a shot. Do you want death? Because this sort of thing is how you get death. The helicopter is within spitting distance, and Miller can escape with $70 million and blow everyone up, including his inside partner, Syra. But instead, he sticks around long enough for our heroes to bullshit their way to another solved case. I really want this movie to end.
There's only one thing I hate more than witnesses, and that's the French.
You say? That doesn't even make sense.
Here comes Brooklyn.
So if his only move here is to literally drop onto the enemy, it's extremely stupid for him to say anything out loud, let alone something as moronic as "Here come Brooklyn." Also, that is the stupidest plan ever for a guy who has a gun with multiple bullets. God damn, dude. You could have fallen the entire length of the Eiffel Tower with one wrong bounce. Nick survives this fucking deadly fall. The movie won't acknowledge that near death, but that's only because the movie can eat my ass. Hard to believe the movie had time for this smoke ring flirtation moment between a couple F-level characters, but it did. At what point did Audrey's survival instincts shift to attach myself to a rickety rope with a quick and dirty knot just in case Miller chucks me off a tower? Because this may be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Just run away from the edge. Why is it taking so long for a mercenary badass to take out a suburban dad? He opened a briefcase with one hand by flipping open 2 latches. What about the combination lock? Was it never on despite this case containing unfathomable amounts of money?
Finish off the others.
I guess this is the moment when Miller turns against Syra, because until now they were working together. It wouldn't be obvious now because the third twist hasn't happened yet, but it also won't make much sense when the sister reveal happens either because no one questions her involvement with Miller, probably because everyone just wants it to be over.
How did you come up with that plan? How do you do that?
She read the script. Duh.
And once henna sets, it doesn't smear.
Henna-splaining. Tired of movies making it seem like it's super easy and takes a nanosecond to steal a cop's gun out of its holster. Tired of it.
This poor guy, honey's running out of arms.
F you, Adam Sandler. F you in your face. You may be wealthy and relatively untouchable by society's ills, but you are a dickhead to disabled people, and you have been ever since your second film. You view missing limbs as punchlines, and you view disabilities as weaknesses worthy of mockery. It's fucking gross, and I hope someone with more clout than me eventually calls you to task for it.
And we're gonna go out to dinner once you get out of the hospital.
I do not care. This is a short-ass movie. Why did they divert so many jokes in the last 20 minutes to this character? Was it because they couldn't write a feature film with the existing characters they already had? Because I think it is.
We decided to elope.
You selfish motherfuckers. After everything that happened, most everyone's spending their own money to get to this destination wedding. You want to elope? Eat all the dicks.
I owe you guys my life.
You really don't. Most of you owe your life to a complicated yet uncoordinated set of events that can't ever be attributed to any one person or entity.
Now we are forever locked up together.
Because doing this to the actual Lovelock Bridge is absolutely illegal. Do your research, you piece of spits.
What are you doing here?
Great question, considering he steals the bag here in a moment and could easily have just driven off without them ever knowing it was intended for them. Why am I always a better bad guy than the bad guys in movies?
Well, yeah, that seems to be enough money. Thank you.
Just 10 million.
That bag weighs at least 222 pounds, and I refuse to believe Audrey's arm socket would stay intact.
Just sell the briefcase. It's dinosaur leather.
So there's no dinosaur leather in existence. I guess this is a joke, or are they exactly that stupid? I can't really tell.
And you believe how lucky we are?
Can't, actually. It's pretty fucking difficult, to be honest.
Bag, hand me the bag.
They seem surprised their new helicopter pilot is turning on them, but duh. But also, how did you guys receive a bag of cash and not put all of it into the bank immediately after receiving it? Also, helicopter pilot f***s them and jumps out, leaving them to probably die in a crash, and I like it. First thing I've liked all movie long.
That's so specific.
So you two dig up dinosaurs?
Is this unicorn cheese?
Guys, make sure you get a piece of this cheese.
I have a message.
This is screaming dragon.
Everyone can see you.
Hi, kidnapper. How are you?
Is this the man who tried to stop me on my escape?
They've got the satellite in Tokyo. These guys are good.
After we get Vic back, we could go and renew our vows at Lovelock's Bridge.
We will take a moonlit walk on the Rue de la Blé.
There's only one thing I hate more than witnesses, and that's the French.
And the Dutch.